For the first question, how do you deal with conflict? Um, Me personally, coming from a football background and working with a bunch of people, I know that conflicts or arguments really don't solve anything. I mean, you just really get into a screaming match, and then most of the time you even forget about what you're arguing about. So as far as conflicts goes, it depends on how the conflict is. You know, if it's something wrong on my part, of course, and then I'm taking criticism from somebody else, I'm going to listen to it. I'm going to hear what they have to say, of course, because I treat all people with respect. I want them to respect me when I talk, so I let them talk. I don't interrupt. I just let them deal with it. And most of the time, I either end up agreeing to disagree or really just going on with going about my business for that most part. uh, there's a story of the orange reminds you of a conflict you could have handled differently. Um, See me, I'm really not a person in conflict. You know, I don't really get into arguments with people. I don't really get in the big he say she say or about the story with the orange about the brothers fighting over orange. You know, me, I'm a giving person, so I'm not gonna really argue with anybody over, especially something as small as an orange or something like that. But I understand the story that both of them could have basically spoken with each other about what they wanted from the orange. Because I mean, in the story, they just really didn't want the orange. One wanted to make orange juice, and one wanted the plum out of the orange. So I mean, basically, that's really story really is about communication. You know, basically appropriately communicating what are you arguing about, and not, you know, just going off of oh I found it first or I'm the oldest or basically just that story doesn't really take me back to anything that I really disagree with anybody about. Cause like I said, I'm a giving person. I told you I like to hear both sides of the story before I go to jump to any conclusions. So. Tell me about a time when you had an issue with the coworker. um, I don't know. I mean, I never had an issue with, like, I don't know. I just never had an issue with anybody, really. I mean, it was one time when I was working at Fiesta, it's a grocery store. This dude, he works on a lot. I was a lot attendant in high school doing the part-time job, and he was like, "Hey, this is why you not doing your job?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And then he said that part of my job was cleaning up trash, and I'm like, "My job is pushing baskets. I don't know what you're talking about." So I just really just went on about my business and completely ignored what he said. But I was a much, you know, younger and kind of dumber person like that. You know, I just really can't. I treated my job like I'm coming. Y'all not my friends. You know, I'm just coming, do my job, get paid, go home. Not here to make no friends with nobody. Really, just really, that's really it. Um, Tell me about a time when you disagree with your boss. I didn't really disagree with any of the bosses I had. Honestly, I mean, they my boss. I mean, at the end of the day, you can have your certain thoughts about them, but I mean, they're in charge of you, rather, you know, getting paid or they in control of your hours. They control all of that. So I'm not finna be in no argument with my boss over something like yeah, I really never had a disagreement with my boss. Really, I mean, even when I worked at Target, I never had a disagreement with him because me and him really saw eye to eye. Most of the people I worked for, we saw eye to eye. So I didn't really have a disagreement. I mean, of course, I got annoyed a couple of times because he was just being what the boss do, you know, on top of you, basically. Want work to progress and finish quicker and all stuff like that. Um, how do you deal with differences of opinions when working on a team? Oh yeah, I'm a extremely what you call a team player. I'm also a leader too, but I'm not a aggressive leader. You know, I step in when needed. So me coming up, I played football, I played basketball, I worked in my church, I worked in a lot of places, and I work around a lot of group of people. I don't really work by myself. So I've even worked in groups where people just let me do all the work, and I just turn it in, and then I don't throw people under the bus because I know how I would, you know, if I needed help and I want somebody to help me out. But opinions in teams, I mean, most people, like I said, I listen to everybody's opinion. Like, I let them. I just sit there and listen to what people have to say, because anybody can talk, but it takes a true person, just to listen to what people say. So I'm listening. If I'm in a group, I'm gonna hear what everybody have to say about their opinion about. Let's say we doing a project, or it's time to sell something for a presentation. I'm gonna let everybody, get their views out. And then if we have a difference of opinion, I mean, honestly, I'm gonna just state my opinion and be like, oh well, I see how it is the way you wanted to do, but I'll be like, we could just use this program, or we could use it this way, and it'll make it more simpler, more accessible for the group and all that. And if a person feels that they don't want to do it, I mean, I'm not gonna force you, honestly. But if you feel that your opinion, your way is way better than my way, I mean, of course we can try your way too. I mean, honestly, I basically I'm a compromiser. I'm not gonna sit here. You can argue all day, but at the end of the day, it still got to get done. So I'm a big compromiser when it comes to group work and being in groups. Tell me about a time you had to respond to an unhappy customer or client. I think it was working at Target. I stepped in to be a cashier one time, and well, not a cashier, a technology person, and a person came up to me and was like, well, on y'all website it says that y'all have this product, but it's not here. And then me being me, I just said, oh well, I can check for you. So I check it, and then I say, oh, it's not here. And then the customer just goes all into an uproar, talking about, you need to get your manager. You don't know what you're doing. You don't know what you're doing. I'm like, ma'am, I'll be happy to get a manager. Very calmly. I'm not going. Like I said, I don't argue with people, honestly, because especially working in places like Target and Fiesta and grocery stores, or anywhere where a bunch of people come through, you're gonna have people who come through who's having a bad day, or they upset about something, so they're gonna project their feelings about something on you, about something that probably don't even have nothing to do with the product. So I just went ahead and was like, oh, I'm sorry, ma'am, it's not here. And she just continued to go crazy, yell, told me, get your manager. I'm like, okay, I'll be happy to get my manager. Just give me a second, find my manager, and then let him come deal with it. Because honestly, if it's not here, it's not here. I'm not finna force it down your throat telling you that it's not here and you don't want to hear me. Because basically, arguing doesn't solve anything at the end of the day. So conflicts, as far as that goes, that's really the only one I had as far as a customer goes, because I usually work to where I didn't really have to help too many people. I just really worked to where I just did my job and go home, basically. So that's it.